What's up? It's Gamma Bro, and I'm going to do a story time video today. There was a comment left in my last video from Matt, and I thought it was a great idea talking about how I started collecting Incredible Hulk and how I amassed this collection and what started it and what figure started my craze. So it's a great idea, and thanks for the recommendation, man. A really good video. So before I get started, I just want to ask for a like, comment, and if you want, you can subscribe. I'm going to be doing daily content in regards to Hulk stuff, and I would greatly appreciate it. So if you want more Hulk in your life, please subscribe. So now I'm going to talk about story time. So it was 1989. It was a craze of 80s nostalgia. So you have He-Man, TMNT, Transformers, G.I. Joe, all the big heavy hitters of the 80s. And it was 89 at that time, so Batman was a big one from the 89 movie. So Marvel really wasn't that big then. As a kid, I wasn't really aware of Marvel stuff. I saw the Hulk TV show, a few episodes, but my parents really didn't let me watch it that much just because it was a giant bodybuilder dude screaming and throwing shit at everybody, so they kind of didn't let me watch it. But I was aware of Hulk, and it was Halloween of '89. I could not for the life of me find a Ninja Turtles costume that I wanted. I'm a big Raphael fan, always have been, so I was trying to find a costume, couldn't find it. So begrudgingly, my mom dragged my little butt out to a grocery store, and all the different costumes in that store were sold out, and I couldn't find anything. And then just tucked in the corner, I just happened to look, and there was this Jolly Green Giant costume. It doesn't really even look like Hulk at first, and then I saw the name, and I was like, oh, this is Hulk. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll give this a try. And if you know costumes of that time, and it's not like kids wear it today, I mean, I have two Rugrats running around, and they, have these really like $60, $70 outfits with all their cool gear and weapons. As a kid with us, I mean, we were stuck with like garbage bags and plastic masks that cracked with a string that fell apart. So that was basically what the Hulk one was. I still have the original one. It's tucked away in one of my storage containers. But it took a beating for me. Let me just say that, because they were very delicate, and as a kid throwing that sucker on during Halloween of '89, I chased everybody I can see and smashed everything I could possibly find, because I loved that costume once I put it on, and I felt like the Hulk, and I was this little rugrat running around chasing after kids and smashing pumpkins, and I was a little mischievous boy, to say the least. But I loved every second of it. So I will forever be grateful for my mom and dad for dragging me out to the grocery store, because that Hulk costume is pretty much what started it all. Now it's the late 80s. Marvel wasn't big, as I said, so toy stores really didn't have Marvel stuff. There was a lot of Batman and all the other, franchises I talked about before, like Transformers and Turtles. So I waited about a year, and I would drag my parents out to Kmart, begging them to go in the toy section to try to find, the newest toys, newest crazes. And just so happens that in 1990, Marvel started a new line, and it had Hulk and Captain America and Doctor Doom and Spider-Man, and they had a little play set, which I had. And there was all these like wacky action features. So Cap had like this thing you put on his wrist, like a gun, and you shoot the shield. And Spider-Man had suction cups that never worked. So the gimmicks were really not the greatest, but overall, I mean, at the time, those figures were pretty cool. So I saw Hulk, and I was super excited. I immediately took that bad boy home, ripped him open, and immediately played with that toy to death, like, honestly. So in regards to that toy itself, the toy was okay. I mean, it doesn't really hold up to today's standards of quality, but I mean, those toys in particular, particularly the Hulk, I had, 34 years, and I still have the original one, which I'm going to show you shortly. And it just took my beating. I mean, I threw that sucker around. I destroyed all my toys. Batman never stood a chance with a stupid grappling belt. I would wrap that around Hulk's arms and swing Batman like a little lunatic. So, and I bugged the crap out of my sister with her Barbies and stuff. Those 12-inch Barbies didn't stand a chance against my 4-inch little Hulk. But I love that line. I had the whole thing, and I always played with them. And the Hulk himself, which I'll show you right now. There is the little guy himself. Where do I even start with this guy? So, this is 1990, so he's 34 years old. He's about, I would say like 3.5, 4 inches. As I said, the quality of this toy, I mean, I beat the crap out of it. And overall, I have to say that it really holds up nicely. I mean, there are a few scratches, a little bit of paint marks, but overall, I mean, with the beating I gave it, if you try to do that with a toy today, I mean, I don't think the paint will even come close to hold up with this. So, I think, they did a great job on the quality control of this figure itself. As for sculpt, so I'm going to put my nostalgia glasses on, and it's going to be a couple tenths of a point higher than I normally give something, just because this is my first, and I think it's just a kick-ass Hulk, to be honest. So I will give the sculpt of this an 8. I think in today's standards, you're looking at low 7s, but, this is my first toy. It holds up, so I'm giving this bad boy an 8. Paint and quality, as I said, is incredible. So I'm going to give him basically an 8.5, I think, for quality. Maybe even a little higher, but I'll stick with 8.5. Price, I mean, these little guys were, $2.99 at the time. So we're looking at maybe $10 to $15 if you get it with the weapons. And in box, you're looking at $25, $30 maybe. I think it's not a bad deal. I think it's adequate for what, older figures go today, especially being so old. This is considered vintage, whether or not you agree with that. I mean, 34 years is a long time. But as for the figure itself, it has a couple action features. So basically on the back, you can pull this lever and the arms will go up and you can swing it and the arms will shoot down. And then this little tab right here, basically you pull it and then his arms will squeeze. So the gimmick with this was it came with a bar and a metallic silver rock, which was useless because you can never do anything with it. It was a little super light, flimsy thing that you can squish easily, and you stick the bar in here into his fists, and then you squeeze, and it'll squeeze the bar. I used to put the rock in the middle and squeeze the crap out of the rock and throw the rock at people, but the stupid rock was so damn light it never really knocked over anything. I lost that thing real quick, and I eventually lost the bar, but for 1990 and the action figure features, I mean, I don't think it's really that bad. So now I'm going to show you the boxed examples of what the figure looked like. So let's turn the light on. Little flash bomb action right there to blind you. All right, so let me find the guy. Okay, here he is. This is what you saw in 1990 when you went to the store. Here's the cool artwork featuring crushing arm action. Here's the bar and the stupid rock that doesn't even look like a rock. But the artwork was cool. I mean, they're trying to bring it back now with certain figures with the styles of artwork, but I mean, overall, I don't think it's really terrible. And then there's another example up here of, I think this came out like 91, 92, maybe 2 years later. Same exact figure, different artwork, and it didn't come with the rock. Came with the bar and the stupid box that you stuck in the back of Hulk, and you press the button. and he says some phrases. It lasted maybe a week because I pressed the damn button so many times, so it never worked anymore with my open version. But I mean, it's a pretty bad gimmick. If I would recommend getting either of the two, I'd definitely go for this one first. Just it's the original, and it comes with the stupid rock, and I like the artwork better. But yeah, that's what they look like. And let's go back in here. So overall with this figure, I think as an action figure, it's pretty cool. I would give him maybe like an 8.3 overall. With nostalgia, I'll put it an 8.5, but I mean, you can't go wrong with a classic Hulk. I think he's cool, and I definitely recommend him in the collection. He's one of the earlier Hulk action figures. Other than the Remco stuff, that is way more expensive today. You can pick this up for relatively cheap, and I recommend it. Now, in regards to a little bit more to my story with dealing with Hulk, and other than action figures and stuff, why the heck do I like a big green rage monster? I can relate more to Hulk now that I'm older. I'm 6'2", relatively in decent shape. And, I do have aggressive tendencies. I always have, even since I was little. So, I relate to the rage aspect, and I relate to the always wanting to be alone tendency. I think, Hulk is an outcast. I'm in the psychology field as my profession, and I always focused on, kids and people who, needed help, and I always wanted to try to help them. And I always felt bad for Hulk that people treated him the way they do. And perfect examples, even like Thor Ragnarok, when Hulk and Thor fought, and then they're in like the room, and Thor's just being an absolute asshole to Hulk. Just incredibly mean. But that's literally like, there's thousands of examples of that, of people just seeing Hulk not for the person he is and the personality he is, more of just the monster and always destroying things and more like getting in the way. So I definitely related to that. But as a kid, why fundamentally I love Hulk so much is mostly dealing with my dad. My dad never really did much with me as a kid. He was a vice president to a hospital and always working and always, I wouldn't say neglecting me. I had a roof over my head and food and stuff, but, we didn't really have that relationship to, talk and, play and do things. He wasn't the type of guy that sat down and played toys with you as a kid. Now, me as a father now, I saw how I grew up, and I am, constantly active with my kids and playing with them, and all this collection's going to my son. So this entire thing is going to be my daughters and sons, and they can do what they will with it when they're older. But anyway, in regards to why I love Hulk, is the one thing that my dad did with me is he took me to a comic shop, and I was 6, so I could read, but comics back then were just filled with words, and I just wanted Hulk smash and look at pictures and see him destroy things, and I wasn't going to take the time to sit there for 20 minutes to read one of those older comics. But my dad, one thing he did with me is he knew I liked Hulk, so he bought the comics. He would try his best to get the correct numbers and have chapters and arcs, but a lot of times, those older Hulk stories in the 70s were very focused on small adventures, and one comic, Hulk is in the city destroying stuff and fighting people, and the next comic he's like shrunken down into like a microverse, saving queens. But my dad like really read to me every single night. He would read me a book, and I would close my eyes and just envision that story. And he did it for a long time, probably till I was 10. So 4 years, almost every single night, my dad would read to me about Hulk stuff. So I thought that was awesome. And that's the one thing he did with me, and it stuck with me. And essentially why I love Hulk the way I do. All of his adventures with my dad. So at that time, my dad was my hero, and you know, my dad and I and Hulk would go on these adventures every single night. So how many years? 34 years later, I'm here, with this collection, and my dad's still alive, and he sees this and just shakes his head and just, thinks I'm nuts. But also, it was his fault. And every time I see him, I'm like, it's your fault that I'm the way this way. So I'm assuming my son will be the same way, because I can literally name any figure in this collection, and my son will know where it is and point it out. But anyway, I'm getting off track. But basically, now you get to see a more personal view of me and why I love Hulk as much as I do. I hope you liked the small review of the action figure, my first action figure. And, again, like, subscribe. Hopefully you got to know a little bit more about me. And over the next few years of me, diving into my collection and showing various, statues and figures, I hope you'll enjoy it. So, again, thank you. And I hope you guys have a great day. And I will see you in the next one. All right. Peace.